is this awesome Super Mario World widescreen 16:9 version, which was like kind of releases the sort of final-ish version from a ROM hacker extraordinaire, Vitor Vilela. Is that right? Vilela? I should double check this shit. And yeah, like so, and we should also. I don't know. I don't want to labor this point, but obviously there's super sad news around Nier recently. But another thing that like Nier's impact, this only works because of Nier's work around, the BSNES. So that's the Super Nintendo emulator, and then being able to really pull apart all the hardware and emulate it. They're able to generate these type of things. So you can only play this in Nier's emulator BSNES. And essentially, it patches the game live, and then also like some stuff that it's done in the past. So like, to restructure it. And I've played this, and it's insane. It's like, it is like truly something that's been made by insane people like me who are like, oh, because I don't usually play these games in a like 1:1 pixel perfect ratio. Like I try to play it like how the Super Nintendo looks. So sometimes you'll find games that like circles don't look like circles because they're playing it in 1:1 instead of pixel aspect ratio. And they have all these options for that stuff, and it's insane. Did you guys get a chance to play it? Because I played it for like 10-15 minutes and loved it.
I have not. No,
I did try it out. It's like it's obviously super impressive and super cool, but there's also that part where it's so successful in what it does that when you start playing it, you forget that it's any different. Like it just feels natural.
Yeah.
It feels like, oh, I'm playing Mario World, and I'm like, oh no, I'm playing a 16:9 version of Super Mario World that's never existed. Like it's crazy. It's so good. I'm so pumped to potentially see this happen to more and more games, because it's just, this is the way I'd love to replay these classics. And it makes me like, I know there's probably little money to be made in this, but it just makes me sad that you've got Nintendo that, like, this is the kind of thing I wish they would do. Like re-release a classics in these 16:9 modes. I know they did some of the 3DS 3D stuff and things, and Sega did that as well, but like this is how I think a great way to re-experience these games.
And look, like as the self-admitted Nintendo shill on the podcast, I because the one example of they've done something like this that's very directly related to something like this is Fire Emblem, the NES game that they actually released a English, not just an English version. So it's not just a translation. They actually modified the game live. So they had like, not even really like save states. They could alter the game a little bit. So they actually put a bit of work into that. And it wasn't just a simple, Japanese text, boom, put it into English, which by the way, isn't that simple to do anyway. They actually put a bit of effort into that. And I'm actually fine if Nintendo were like, okay, here's the 16:9 versions of these, and you have to pay like $5 or something to play them.
Yeah,
I'd buy that. Like, I know that yes, I'm a shill, whatever, come at me. I don't give a shit anyway. But yeah, like I'd be all for that. And I'm totally in agreement with you, Subini, that like it's just such a shame, because I would love to replay like things like Super Metroid in this 16:9 fashion on the Switch OLED, in a few months. Like that'd just fucking look insane. It looks sick, man. And it's my favorite game of all time. And I feel like playing this, Winnie, and this sounds like an outlandish thing that I'm going to say, maybe, but I feel like this is now the definitive way to play this game.
I mean, it's a damn good way to play the game, so I don't disagree.
Well, yeah, but I just think was I played through it and I'm like, this is just like, it genuinely is like a 16:9 version of it. It's not like, I don't know. And I only played it for like 15 minutes. It didn't seem to glitch or have any weirdness about it at all. It was just like bloody perfect. I was like, wow, this is fucking insane. So no, I'm just really hyped. I actually want to play it more. Just because it's like such a cool way to play it and just rediscover it. I'm sure that there are some elements of it that, given that games were designed in that sort of, 8x7 or 4x3 fashion, that they won't translate as well. You know what I mean? Because maybe they'll give away a secret or something like that. But
I mean, the Super Mario World does have some one screen kind of things. Like the first thing you see is a one screen. So they've obviously had to take a little bit of liberty there, but they've got the sprite artwork anyway to fill out the gaps to end them. You see the mountain going off the edge of the screen, so they finish off that. What it would naturally look like. So they do have to take a little bit of liberties, but when you're talking about the levels themselves, like in the footage at the moment, I mean that stuff is just all looks natural. It all looks how it's almost like in your mind how you saw it as a kid.
Yeah, it really is. It's like I'm going to be fascinated playing these games more in the 4x3 again, because I might look at it and go, oh wow, this is kind of weird. They've done the same with Mario Kart, because Mario Kart is a lot easier, just because if you think about the Mode 7 thing, because this has also kickstarted this whole thing, and I'll close this tangent off really shortly, but essentially Mario Kart's Mode 7, so it's like a 2D image that's just projected in a 3D plane, and because of that, it's really easy to make a widescreen because you know what you're already filling out. So that was the first game they really did that with, and then they were like, oh wait a second, it's projecting it, but it's doing it using the SNES hardware, and that's like not, because the way it interpolates and stuff like that, it's more blocky than it needs to be. So the first thing that they did after that was they made an HD version. I don't know if you've ever played the HD version of Super Mario Kart in BeastNet, Swinny?
No.
Yeah, and it looks insane. So it's like the image, but it's like perfect, like 2D, 3D projection. It looks really trippy almost. So you should try that out next. That's also like almost a definitive way to play Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart as well. So
I'd love CF0 like this as well.
I think they have that. I think they have that as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. It's like a whole little scene that's happening around that. I could bang on about it all day, but like I just wanted to really make sure that we covered it. And thanks to, I was going to cap the video myself, but thanks to Tim Sweeney and the Unreal video channel on YouTube. Very well done. Perfect capping, 4K. It was, 60 frames per second. Can't complain about that. And they didn't have any shit on their screen. I'm always a big fan of when people just go, we didn't make this game, so I'm not going to try to claim credit or like put a little fucking watermark or some shit like that on there. Anyway, so that covers us off for the news this week.